Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Executive Espresso, and we're here with my good friend Andrew Calderella. And Andrew will be on the screen here in just a moment. As you see in the show notes, he is a world traveler, martial artist, does yogi, health and fitness fanatic, and gosh, we're the same mind there. He is a serial entrepreneur. He's operated a successful strategic consulting firm for over 20 years, and he is the creator of the Seventh Foundation, the One Show, the One Tribe, the One Movement, and the One Party. Gosh, that's a lot of ones, but he's going to tell us about that in a bit. He's best-selling author of The Way, 7 Revolutionary Steps to Living a Meaningful Life and Making a Real Difference in the World. And Andrew, let me get both of us up on the screen here. Welcome, and thank you for being on Executive Espresso, Caffeinated Conversation with Dr. Heath about business, relationships, and life. Tell me, what did I miss, and what's all this one stuff? One show, one tribe, one movement, one party.
Sure. I don't know that you missed much. I did start a firm 24 years ago now, Consulting Ace Incorporated. As far as the one show, the one tribe, the one movement, these are ideas that I've been sharing on different shows. It's about, the one tribe is about how we can all learn how to be ourselves, or be our best self, and share with each other, help each other, make money, and have some fun. The one movement is about helping fix our world. As you know, there's a a lot of different movements that start all the time, whether it be for the environment or for human rights. But the problem seems to be, to me and to a lot of people I talk to, is that we're too siloed, we're too segregated. There's too many of these movements, and they're diluting their efforts. They have very little effect sometimes on changing big issues. Now, just imagine if a lot of these groups, they didn't stop what they were doing, but they joined in one group, the one movement, and then we were able to focus on certain environmental issues or civil rights issues or whatever it may be. Imagine a billion people in this one movement, how much power we'd have, how much money, and be able to make a big difference. The one party idea is really just to kind of get rid of these old, I want to say, special interest parties where they're so focused on such narrow issues and they're not really dealing with finding solutions to all the problems facing the people of their country. So it's about creating a political party that is focused on solutions, and it has nothing to do with politics, really. It's about serving the people. So these are the ideas I've been sharing on different shows. I'm just starting to get those out there. We'll see where it goes.
Wow, I mean, I think we need more people that are willing to step up and make a difference instead of just make money. I think that sometimes it comes down to a choice. You can make a difference or you can make money, and I think the magic sauce is when you're able to join the two together. And
Yeah.
but I think Gary Vaynerchuk had it right, and I like a lot of the stuff that Gary does. But it's really the age of the thank you economy where you make a difference first and you make money later, where it seems like most people are focused on making money first, and then if you make a difference, that's okay, but they really just want the money. Well, let's see. Let's jump into some of my question here. You have a history of struggle, and you seem to have been very successful with overcoming those struggles, such as bullying, physical disability, and learning disability. How'd you do that?
Well, let me just give you a quick little rundown so people understand what we're talking about. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, 1966. Parents fighting for the civil rights movement. I was born with dyslexia, other learning disabilities, and a lazy eye. The lazy eye meant I was seeing 2200 vision through that eye. It was turned in a little bit. So the doctors put a patch over my good eye to make me look out of that bad eye to make it stronger. Needless to say, with dyslexia, a patch over my eye, I couldn't do much well. Couldn't catch a ball to save my life. I couldn't do math or anything else in school, and was bullied relentlessly. Even had teachers tell me I was too stupid to learn anything and mock me in front of the whole class and tell me I should just leave. It led me down a very dark road, as you can imagine, as a kid, being thrown in trash cans, almost drowned, bullied, beaten up all the time. But I was also, pretty big guy. So, I'm 6'1", been an athlete my whole life, a lot of energy, learning disabilities, they call them that, but a little hyperactive kid. So when I got to about sixth grade, I was at the size or bigger than most of the bullies that were in the school that were tormenting me. And I had like one fight with the biggest bully. And after that, nobody messed with me. And I had a couple more when I went to high school. And that was kind of it. But I was able to graduate from elementary school, went on to high school, became the vice president, was on the basketball team, track, cross country, went on to college, got degrees in speech communications, theology, philosophy, was on the crew, was the programming commissioner, got my first job out of college in Japan. It was a internationalization program, JET program, teaching English, traveled around Japan. It was an awesome experience, traveled the world, worked many different jobs, putting myself through school and everything. And like you mentioned, in 1999, I started consulting ACE after a couple other companies I had. And since then, I've been doing a lot of different types of consulting, and I have a drug testing company that I bought out years ago that was destroyed in COVID, unfortunately, and we're trying to bring it back. So
Oh
anyway, that's
boy.
kind of my history, how I overcame all these things.
Well, what I want to point out just real
Okay,
quick
go
is
ahead.
it just
Sure.
dawns on me, and I've actually, I've not that it just dawned on me, I've thought this for years. It's not that kids with learning disabilities don't learn. I think they learn in different ways.
That's
And I
exactly
think,
true.
yeah, I mean, it's not that they don't learn or don't have the capacity to learn. It's that we adults put them in a framework and expect them to learn. Trying to get on camera here. Expect them to learn in this way, and if they don't fit in this small vacuum of how we want to have them learn, then they don't. But
Yeah, it's
it's
like
not that
the
they
cookie
don't
cutter
learn; they just
approach.
learn in different ways.
Yeah, so that if it wasn't for my mom, I would never have made it. She spent a lot of extra time helping me learn, different types of flashcards using imagery, all sorts of things. And honestly, the one thing that I can say that really helped me was her instilling self worth in myself. Meaning, one of the things that she used to tell me when I was a kid, uh, after being bullied and not wanting to go to school and all these things, was it doesn't matter what other people say about you or what's happening around you. You can feel and think about yourself how you want inside. You don't have to internalize what other people are doing to you. If they're calling you stupid, it doesn't make you stupid. Okay. And like you said, I also, just so you know, I had some gifts in other areas. A lot of times with people with dyslexia, and sometimes you have other gifts. So they tested me later and I was, genius in abstract thinking in these other areas, but it still doesn't mean I can do math well. So, it's like a trade-off sometimes. You get some gifts and you have some negatives, but like you said, it doesn't mean that kid is stupid. It just doesn't mean he can do the cookie cutter approach to
Yeah, one of my favorite
learning that
quotes
we
I
do.
think comes from Einstein. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll go through life thinking it's stupid. Uh, Fish don't do well in trees.
Yeah.
As good fishermen knows. But that's amazing. Your mother told you this stuff. That's incredible.
Oh, my mom, because I spoke earlier, I had a lot of interesting things that happened to me when I was a kid, showing my gifts, and they knew that and I had my brain analyzed, all sorts of stuff. So, because they were trying to figure out what's going on, if they could help me. And she'd give me a list. I can't remember all the names now, but Edison was on that list. I think Einstein was on that list. They all have these weird little disabilities, but then they're very, brilliant in other areas. And she kept telling me, like, you're like this. You're going to be fine. You just need to, keep persevering and get through this, and stay whole. And I had bouts with suicidal thinking and all those kind of things. And I think when you're damaged and scarred so young, it does create a lifetime challenge.
Well,
And
I
that's
want to
where
say
I
something to the folks listening about when you're damaged, and I would say in comparison to what, back to my fish example or Einstein's fish example, the fish's ability to climb a tree is damaged in relation to what?
yeah
And I mean, one of my favorite things in statistics early on in undergrad was the bell curve. I was just fascinated with the bell curve, and my statistics book was called Tails of Distributions, because in the tails of the distribution is this little tiny fraction of the population. And but we tend to compare the tails of the distribution with the center of the distribution where most people are in a set number of ways. But
yeah
but I think that misses a lot. So kudos to your mom. What a wonderful,
oh
wonderful woman. Is your mother still living?
yes, and I'm actually caring for her. My father passed
Oh my. Well, you
20
tell
years
her
ago.
that she has a brand new fan.
Okay, well, she's awesome. It's funny you said, because we're going some major challenges with her health, and she's fallen down. I only got a few hours sleep last night because she had fallen down and hurt herself, and I had
Oh
to
my. I
take care
hope
of her.
she's
And
okay. But you're returning the favor.
yes, absolutely, got to take care of your family
You're
and
paying
people
it
that
back.
love
You're
you.
paying it back. Well, tell us. Uh, uh, we talked in our other interview. Andrew's been on my show before. That show. Oh, here it is. Therapy Bites, and we had about an hour or so long conversation. We only have about 18 minutes today. Executive Espresso is a short show, but we talked about the difference in what I would call lowercase success and uppercase success. And I'm finding, especially on social media, that we have a lot of young men who, well, my dad would call it bass backwards, getting the cart before the horse, confusing what is success and what is not success. And how do you differentiate? You have a different terminology for
Yeah, I use
real success.
difference between success and true success. So if you study the lives of the most successful people in the world, just so you know, this all ties into my book, and I did a master class on this. Just so you know, there's a 5-part master class. Uh, the difference between success and true success. Success is usually tied to wealth, power, and fame. And when we analyze the lives of these people, right, it doesn't mean just because you get a lot of money or fame or wealth or whatever it may be, um, wealth and fame. Anyway, the idea is that you're not necessarily going to have the best relationships. You're not automatically going to be healthy. You're not automatically going to have everything in your life work out. If anything, what I've discovered is that wealth, power, and fame are a big challenge. And if you don't handle it correctly, it can seriously ruin your life, damage your relationships, your health, and everything else. True success, right, is cut to the chase, is really what a loving mother would want for their kid, right? They want to be healthy and happy, have great relationships, be passionate about something like their work, and hopefully do that for a living. They want them to have all those pieces that make up a wonderful and happy life. And really, that's what we all want. And if it involves fame or wealth or whatever it may be, that's fine. But if you don't have that core on how to make yourself a great person, and when you face these challenges of being wealthy, famous, or um, anyway, it can really seriously damage your life. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
I agree. I would use the metaphor of a stew, and one tasty ingredient does not a stew make. And is money a tasty ingredient? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Money is a really tasty ingredient, but that will not make for a really healthy stew of life. It would be like saying that you can make a stew out of celery only or something.
Yeah,
And
you mentioned the young guys. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just wanted to give a
I was going to say one of my other favorite quotes comes from Malcolm Forbes Sr. Somebody asked him, the famous billionaire founder of Forbes magazine, how much more money do you really want to make? And he famously said, and maybe he was trying to make a point, maybe he was serious, it'd be sad if he were serious. He said, just one more dollar. And so that's what you find people that just make that one single ingredient of life money is how much is enough. Well, there's just never enough, and they spend all their time and effort accruing that at the expense of more important things like a relationship with their mother.
or their wife or their kids and everything else. And I've talked to a lot of business owners throughout my career, and I've had so many conversations with the old guys, right, that are millionaires and they're in their office, and you have these deep conversations with them, and not one of them that I've ever spoken to is like, yeah, I wish I spent more time in the office. I'm glad I missed my kids' baseball games. I'm glad I'm 3 times divorced and alone, and I'm so overweight, and I'm addicted to alcohol and smoking. And no, they always regret all of these things. So what I try to do in my coaching and my consulting business, if they go that route, we have a lot of different fintech solutions, but there's a strategic consulting option there too. And what I always try to do is find that life work balance, right? You have to take care of yourself all day long. You could view your whole life as training, right? As a way to make or break yourself, right? You can't just give up everything and hope you're going to be happy one day. You need to work on happiness every day to be happy. And there's skills. I mean, when I talk about the way, and it's like the way to be your best and fix our world, this isn't my way. This is what I've researched over 30 years, is how do human beings become their best self? There are best practices around every facet of your life, whether it be sleeping or relationships or communications or whatever it is. And we just need to learn those and integrate those best practices into our life. And if you do that in all the critical areas of life, it will make you a better person, because it takes about 90 days to develop a habit. So you make all these best practices around these critical areas of your life into habits, and it automatically will make you a better person. That's literally how we do it. So the way is like covering the basics on that. And that's how I think we need to help the young people understand these principles, so that when they grow up, their first habits as a child, when they're learning them, are these best practices. Then you don't have to go back later in life and try to teach them and relearn, and go through all the struggles and traumas. So
Yeah, it's just easier to do it right the first time. So, speaking of which, a lot of folks out there, all folks out there, have their own top mental struggle. How do you? What's your own current top mental struggle? I know you mentioned dealing with,
yeah,
the declining health of your mother, but what's your own top mental
with
struggle?
that, honestly, I went through this with my dad, and it's right now my top mental struggle now is, you're watching your loved one be in pain and hurt, and not be able to do it, and your heart's breaking. I mean, inside you're you're breaking. But you can't show that to them all the time because they're like, oh honey, thank you, it's nice to see you, and you don't want to be like, God, mom, I'm so sad, So it's like, so in yourself you have to be positive and happy and help them and stuff, but inside you're kind of breaking. So dealing with that mental back and forth. And my only answer to that is love, right? Because it's all centered in love. You're hurting because you care so much, but you need to find that center of, I'm here for her. You know what I mean? And it is okay. I can't stop her aging or her degenerative disease, but I can be here for her and make her smile and have a moment. So that's where I find
And
my
that's what we're
struggle
here
and
for.
my
We're
peace.
here to serve, and we're here to give back. And I believe it is our privilege to sacrifice for those folks who are important in our life. And we're on our 15-second triple shot here. So, question number 2 in about 5 seconds. What's your current best mindset hack?
My best mindset hat would be to stay positive in all the negative situations. And I've learned how to do this through using affirmations and my positive mindset. I think it's just a matter of when you meditate and you get to that positive state, is remember that. And once you do that, you can kind of go back there instantly. So my mind hack is, once you get yourself into a place where your mind is good, remember that. So then when your mind isn't so good, you can kind of remember it, get back to that moment immediately. And you do that throughout the day. You don't just meditate once in a while. It's mini meditations, it's mini focusings, it's mini centerings.
And how would you say that adversity can actually power success?
Well, adversity gives energy. I don't know if you've ever had a big tragedy in your life and you wake up early, you have all this energy. You got to train your mind to sleep at night so you can be rested. But that adversity will give you energy, and you can use that for a very positive thing. I know some people will drink themselves and do drugs to compensate, but it's really better to just work out and focus on making your life better if you're facing adversity. Find good people to help you.
Adversity is one of the best times to start doing a healthy thing. And let's leave our guests with our listeners, our guest listeners, with an affirmation to take them through the coming week. What might you say to them, kind of closing out our time together in Executive Espresso?
Sure. Just quickly, affirmations to me are always follow the PPP, right? The positive, personal, and present. So it's I am, and it could be anything. And all the different virtues that you want to embrace is what you add. And I always say I am one. And oneness means I am all the virtues, right? I am happy, I am peaceful, I am disciplined and dedicated. And just, there's a whole list of those on my website. I covered that in the book. There's a free download for meditation guide and all of that on the website. But that is really it. You just got to keep saying to yourself, I am these things. Even if you don't embody them right now, you can if you just keep focusing on them.
And I completely agree with Andrew. You can find more about Andrew in the show notes. You can see his link, which is 7way.me. I guess they can just type in 7way.me and get your website.
Yeah, and also consultingace.com. So I have the foundation's website and the business website. You can learn about both of the things I'm doing there.
Hey, guys, thank you for joining us on Executive Espresso. We'll catch you next time. Go out and make it a high-octane day. Bye-bye now.